You're tuned in to Upon Further Review with Phillip Jordan, a show with compelling conversations on local, SEC, and national sports stories. Connect with Phillip on social media at PJordanSEC. Now, the self-proclaimed Wiregrass Podfather, Phillip Jordan.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in to Upon Further Review. I am your host, Phillip Jordan, in-studio host and producer of Dothan Football, 96.9, a legend and Auburn writer for Last Word on college football. We're presented to you by Digio Strategies and Wiregrass Daily News. And you can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please follow, rate, and review. Leave a review. I will read it on a future edition of the show. And if you leave just 4 stars, you're just a straight up hater. You can also watch the show over on my YouTube page, Phillip Jordan Sports. Go check it out. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for all notifications. Leave comments on videos. We read them too as well. And also you can check the show out. Watch it over at the Wiregrass Daily News Facebook page, or just go over to Wiregrass Daily News. Follow me on social media at PJordanSEC. Maybe changing the Twitter handle here soon. And of course, you can email me at sportstalkphillipjordan@gmail.com. Before we get into today's featured guest, actually, I'm giving you 2 podcasts this week. I'm really excited for you to hear today's episode. I'm going to be joined by Carl Reynolds. He is the head coach of the Dothan United Dragons soccer team we have here in Dothan, Alabama. Great support. Everybody's loving. It's really bringing the community together. But so we did this interview. We talk about their matchup coming up. They're friendly with Swan City. As soon as we got done with that, I went on the Dothan United Soccer Facebook page, and I saw that they had put this up on Facebook. It says, update, we'll be facing off against FC Barca instead of Swan City. Get ready to cheer on the Dragons. What an exhilarating weekend at Repuse. Now it's on to the next. See you Thursday. So if there's any confusion, we get to that part. Just that's what was on Facebook. So just let you guys know. That's what sometimes happens when you do these podcasts. You record an interview, stuff gets posted, stuff happens. So let you guys just know that much before we get into it. And let's do it now. Here is my conversation with Dothan United Dragons head coach Carl Reynolds. All right, joining me right now on the podcast is Dothan United Dragons head coach Carl Reynolds. And Coach Reynolds, congrats on the win on Saturday night, the 4-0 win. And I appreciate you taking some time with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it, and appreciate you having me. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Just let's jump right into it. Beat Athens United 4-0 on Saturday night. Another great crowd there at Repuse Stadium. Just what did you see out of your team, especially early on, 3-0 halftime, that really pushed them forward for the victory?
Yeah, I've kind of said it to everybody that's asked. If I'm honest, in terms of the overall performance, I didn't see too much difference of what we've been seeing. I think the biggest thing is the one that stands out, which is, when we had chances, we took them, which has obviously been a big disappointment, not just over the last few weeks, but just across the season in general. If we'd have taken the chances that we created, we would be, we would already be playoffs and thinking through to the next couple of weeks. So really, long story short, I didn't see too much different in the performance. It was more of just we were a lot more clinical, and the players have worked hard. We've worked hard. We've made a couple of little adaptations in terms of the way that we structured ourselves, and hopefully that's paying off.
Yeah, what was the whole week with practice and everything like going into the game? Of course, now you had the friendly that was moved to this week that you were scheduled to play last week. But so how was like the preparation for the game last week?
To be honest, we kind of kept it very normal. I think probably I'm a big psychology guy. So I think probably the main thing that I did more this week than I did the previous weeks is I kind of made the fact that we weren't finding that finishing touch. I made it a bit more of a joke, and tried purposely to try and make it a little bit more jokey and a little bit more to where the players could feel free. They may understand that now, but maybe at the time didn't really understand what we were doing. But yeah, just made it a little bit more of a joke, and a few more like sarcastic comments here and there about the fact that we couldn't find the net. And I was hoping maybe that would allow us to be a little bit more free. And then we spoke just before we went out about playing with freedom and just, knowing that we've got so much quality, we're going to create another chance. So not every chance is the only chance we're going to get. So trying to approach it with a little bit more carefree. And I think you could see with some of the goals that we scored that the guys were able to do that. And again, maybe it's my fault because I should have done that a few weeks ago, but you just never really know.
And pardon me, and excuse me if this does come off as kind of a dumb question, but I just want to throw it out there. It's something, just for me, just following sports. As a sports fan, I've seen this in the Birmingham game. It ended in a draw, but you guys got a goal right there at the end. Of course, you've been on the drought, hadn't been able to put points on the board. Do you think, gave the team confidence going into this game as well? Just, okay, we got that off our shoulders. We know we can put the ball in the goal, and then we saw it happen on Saturday.
Yeah, that's not a dumb question at all. I think if Yoel doesn't get his head on Reese's cross against Legion, obviously the feeling is different. It goes from a tie to a loss. So I think that's a big moment for sure, and definitely something that we could lean on where it didn't become quite such a serious thing, because obviously we did get a point and we didn't lose the game. But again, anybody that was at that game or has seen the highlights of that game will know we could have had 5-6 that night. And then against East Atlanta the game before, we could have had 5 or 6 that night. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that Yoel moment, scoring in the last few seconds, was huge. It took a little bit of weight off our shoulders. And yeah, Saturday night was fantastic. If I'm being harsh, we probably should have had 3 or 4 more. So yeah, hopefully that rolls over to Thursday. We'll work hard again this week, and obviously, more importantly, hopefully it rolls over to Saturday, and we can get a few more goals and excite the fans even more.
This is just kind of like the nerd of me in all sports. I just love talking to coaches and just kind of like the mindset, the preparation, the ideas, the planning. So you go up 3-0, you're going into halftime. When you're up 3-0, what's kind of like the mindset or the plan going into the second half?
We wanted more. We know that it could come down to tiebreakers. The tiebreaker between us and Tennessee, the first tiebreaker is always head-to-head. So obviously we have the head-to-head over Tennessee in both games. Obviously, believing that we'll beat SSA on Saturday, which we have to go in believing we will do, then we would have the head-to-head over them. So the only one that would be a tight one would be East Atlanta, because obviously we won one and lost one against them. So the next head-to-head would be goal difference. Well, obviously that answers your question in terms of when we're going in at 3-0 up, we need to make sure, one, we don't concede any, and, could we put more on the board? And we managed to get one. I felt like we should have had a definite penalty, which wasn't given. And we should have had a couple more. But yeah, to come out with a +4 goal difference after the weekend, with 3 goals ahead of East Atlanta now. So that's quite a big swing. So we would hope ending the season, if it does go to a head-to-head, that we would have the head-to-head on whichever of the 3 teams would be around us.
So for this Thursday, as I mentioned earlier, makeup from last week, the friendly was Swan City. Just what are some key things you'd like to see out of your team on Thursday to lead into that big match on Saturday night?
Yeah, well, I'll tell the fans and everybody right now, the starting team on Thursday will involve no starters that will play Saturday. So obviously we have to be really cognizant with the amount of minutes and work that we're putting into their legs, because Saturday is such a massive game. But Thursday's really big as well. And it's really big because obviously it's an opportunity for all of those other players that, you know, won't be starting the game on Saturday to stake a claim to get themselves into the squad for Saturday, to get themselves into the squad for potential playoffs, and also to keep themselves in the squad for next season. I don't think there's going to be a player in the squad that doesn't think that this environment and what they've been given this summer here has been nothing short of extraordinary. So I can only imagine that they would want to be renewed for next season, and obviously games like Thursday night give themselves the opportunity to stake their claim to do that, and also to show the fans what they can do, so that the fans can fall in love with them and want them back as well. And it's another USL League Two team that's coming in. So obviously any team that come in from our league, we want to make sure that we show them that Dothan United is the pinnacle of this league in all aspects. So yeah, it's a real opportunity for the club, for the fans, for the players, for the staff to make sure that we put on a really, really good show and show that we're here to stay and we're going to be a real staple in this league for a long, long time.
You know, for people coming out for Thursday, what can you tell us about Swan City that you've seen?
Yeah, so obviously we do a lot of homework on all the clubs. They've had an up and down season in the league they're in down in Florida. They've won some games against some good teams. They've lost some games, very, very similar to ourselves in terms of some of the results that they've got. Maybe they didn't deserve. So we know that they're going to be coming in. They're going to be trying to end their season on a high. And the other thing I'll say as well is always slightly different when it involves Dothan United. It's definitely going around the league in terms of the way that these guys get treated here. The fan base, 100%. Everybody knows all about Dothan United and what we're attracting now, what it looks like on game days for us, and so on. So there is not a club in this league, there's not a player in this league that doesn't know what Dothan United can offer. And I would hazard a guess to say that there's a lot of people that are going to be wanting to play for Dothan United next season and for years after this. So anytime a team comes into Rip Hughes, those players, that staff, that club are coming in to show their absolute best. We get the best of everybody that comes into Rip Hughes Stadium. Make no mistake about that. So we know no matter who comes in, we're getting their best. And that means we have to be at our best and we have to respect their best. And that's what we'll expect Thursday night. That's what we'll expect Saturday night. And to be honest, because of where we're at and what the club have been able to build in such a short period of time, we're never going to have a team come in here and take us lightly. We have a massive target on our back now, and I think we prefer it that way as a club. We like that.
Yeah, it's got to keep you on your toes when you're in that situation where people are coming and bringing their best, as you say, because the crowd in Dothan has been amazing every time. Even when you guys the game started at 9:30, the Birmingham game with the weather and everything, a lot of people still showed out for that. And of course, like we talked about the Thursday game, you have on Saturday night, just again, the Southern Soccer Academy. It's like kind of the same question I asked you with Swan City. What can you tell the audience about them?
Yeah, so it's a strange one because we played them on the first game of the season, and this will be obviously the last game of the regular season. So it's a really strange one because teams throughout the course of the season obviously progress and you would imagine get better. When we played them at their place, we were extremely disappointed to come away with a tie because it was a game we felt like we controlled and created, again, so many chances, the story of our season. But they have real quality. They have players in all positions that have presence, have size. They have athleticism that can really cause a problem. They're quite direct in terms of the way they play. So we're going to have to make sure that we're really good transitionally. When we give the ball away, counter pressing, making sure that we defend the space behind us. So we'll prepare obviously all week for that, as we do for every game. And they'll have our full respect because we know it's going to be a massive game for them. I mean, put it this way, if they're able to get a result against Tennessee on Tuesday night, then our game against SSA on Saturday could essentially be a team whoever wins goes. So this could be an even bigger game than it looks like right now. So the preparations are just heightened because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically a playoff game in that scenario between the
Exactly.
two of you. Just asking, the community of Dothan, when you look at this community, what they've been, I mean, they have come out for you guys every game, tailgating, everything. It's a great atmosphere. Honestly, if I was opposing team, I don't know if I'd be up playing Dothan. I'd be a little fearful because there's a big crowd there. You're not going to be able to hear yourself think at times. Just what's been your overall, just your experience with the Dothan community this season?
It's been nothing short of incredible. I think that it's been really interesting actually for me, because so after the game on Saturday, I came home for a couple of days to spend with my kids. We gave the guys a couple of days off, and it's been quite strange kind of walking into a Walmart or whatever and not, hey coach, how's the team, how's everything going, we'll be at the game, like so on and so forth. Like it's almost like I can't go anywhere. But I love that, and I know the staff love it, and I know the players love it. We've really fell in love with the community and how much they're getting behind us. And honestly, the pressure that I put on myself to try and make sure that we're as successful as possible on the field comes because we don't want to let them down. We know how much it takes to give what they're giving to a club at our stature, at the really at the start of our journey. The fact that they're out there so early before games, they're watching the warm-ups, they're tailgating, they're treating us in the community the way they're treating us, the way they're treating us on social media, being at the games until 12 o'clock at night because we had lightning delays. And we definitely feel, I know I do feel, an added pressure is probably not the correct word, but definitely we feel like we owe even more because of what we're being given on a daily basis. But clubs can't survive without fan base like that, because what they're able to do is they're able to keep people in my position, in the players' position, in the hierarchy's position. They keep us on our toes because it's always what's next. What are we doing to push the envelope and raise the status quo, which is the only way that you can continue to be successful. If you don't have eyes on you all the time, it can be very easy to find a level and stay there. Whereas when you've got continued eyes on you and people that want to see it continue to be successful and be better and better every day, you have no choice but to continue pursuing what's next. And that's my mentality. I know it's Steve Donner's mentality. It's a mentality of everybody at the club that every day we want to be better. It was lovely, winning the game the other day, but Sunday morning it's straight on to Thursday and Saturday, because we owe it to them to put on another performance and score goals and keep bringing people through the turnstiles. And I think the biggest thing as well is, I walk out of the locker room on after halftime on Saturday, and I don't know the name of the child, but he was one of the ball boys and he's juggling on the side and he's working really hard trying to be better at juggling. And, I thought to myself then, like, you've got all these kids out here that probably dream of doing this one day, and we owe it to them to really put on a show and show them what soccer really is and what it can do for you individually and what it can do for a community and cultures and so on. So we have a really, really big responsibility and we're really cognizant of that. And we talk about that every day in training. I want the fans to know that we talk about owing it to them and their commitment to us, and that will never change. That won't stop. And yeah, all we can say to them is from the bottom of our heart, thank you. And we wish that some of the results prior to this would have been a little bit more positive, which we believe they should have been, but that's part of the journey. And we've certainly learned a lot, and you can be rest assured that we're doing absolutely everything in our power to make this a real powerhouse and something that you can be proud of for years and years.
One last question. I know I kept it a little bit longer than I said I would, but if somebody in the Dothan area is watching this on Wiregrass Daily News Facebook page, or they're listening to the podcast, if they have not made it out to a game yet, tell them what they need to come out on Thursday night or Saturday night.
Both. To be honest, I could speak about the soccer side all day. The players need and crave the support of the community and the fans. But it's more than that. I've seen friendships be made between the fan base. People that didn't know each other, and they're now friends and hang out with each other every Saturday night because of these games. I've seen families come out and connect with other families, children connect with other children because of everything that Steve and the team do behind the scenes to make it such an unbelievable occasion. It really is an occasion. It's not just a soccer match. From the food that Chef Kim provides to, obviously they have alcohol out there. They have the jump houses, the fireworks, the halftime shows. It's really a real occasion for everybody, and there's something for everybody. And I've heard people say to me over the last few weeks that it's some of the most exciting nights that they've had in Dothan because of everything that's going on, and that's incredible. And that's not soccer. That's just people behind the scenes doing such an unbelievable job with the entertainment value that they're providing. And our job is to obviously make it just that little bit better by winning soccer matches, and that's what we'll continue to try to do. But it's way more than that. And I think that anybody that hasn't been out, just come and experience it. You don't need to know anything about soccer. Just come and experience it. And trust me, it's different. It's something, it's like nothing you've ever seen.
Yeah, I can speak from experience. I've been to the games. It is a great environment. And Coach, I appreciate your time here today, talking with us about your team. And good luck this week on Thursday and, of course, on Saturday night. And again, I do appreciate you taking the time.
Phillip, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Once again, thanks to Coach Reynolds for being on the show today. A lot of fun talking with him, and something different too here on the show. For the show audience, I can talk more than one sport. I know multiple sports. I can talk about different things, but again, I had a blast with that conversation, and I hope you enjoyed watching or listening to it as well. And of course, Thursday night, the friendly 7:00, Ripue Stadium. Be there, and if you can't be there, Saturday night, of course, you heard Coach talk about it. It's going to be a big match, big game. Playoff implications could be on the line in this one for both teams when they play the Southern Soccer Academy. The two did play back in May, May 22nd. It was a 0-0 draw. So we'll see what happens on Saturday night when they do play. That's not all for me this week. We'll be back later on in the week. Hadn't decided if I'm going to drop the next episode Wednesday afternoon or maybe Thursday morning. But the next episode, we are scheduled to be joined by Barry McKnight, voice of the Troy Trojans. You see the helmet back there in the back. And we're going to get into some more Ask Me Anything. That's going to try to have some questions for me to talk about. A lot of people do lean college football on those. I think I do have an NFL question coming up, so we'll do that. We'll do that later on in a week. And as I said at the top, you can follow me on social media at P Jordan SEC. Podcast available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube, Phillip Jordan Sports. You can check out interviews and the stuff over there. Watch the show over on Wiregrass Daily News. And if you're still tuning into this, please share it out. Word of mouth. That's the biggest way shows, podcasts, videos, they get seen by people is not by me posting it or sharing it on my channels or at Wiregrass Daily News. It's also by you, listener, viewer, sharing it, let people know what's going on, sharing the links. Hey, go check out this cool show. This guy, Phillip Jordan, I'm going to toot my horn here, has some pretty good guests and has some interesting conversations. So just please do that. And if you want to hear more of me, go check out the Wiregrass High School Football Report. We got that going again. And I just had this week, I had Ashford head coach David Stapleton on. I have not decided who I'm going to ask high school football coach wise for next week, but hey, please go check that out as well. Great conversations over there as we're kind of gearing up for the high school football season. But anyways, like I said, be back later in the week. Barry McKnight will be joining me for our annual visit where we preview the Detroit Trojans. It should be an interesting conversation. I can actually kind of talk a little bit with Barry that I've talked with Coach Parker. I had him for 15 minutes before the spring a few months ago, but still, we have that to talk about. But anyway, it should be fun. And again, go check out the Dothan United Dragons this coming Thursday and Saturday as they close out the regular season. Hope everybody has a great start to the week, and I'll talk to you guys later on the week. Once again, one of the GOATs when it comes to radio play-by-play guys, Barry McKnight, will be joining me. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Upon Further Review with Phillip Jordan. Listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Watch the show on the Phillip Jordan Sports Facebook and YouTube pages, or the Wiregrass Daily News Facebook page. Got a guest idea? Email Phillip at sportstalkphillipjordan@gmail.com. Join us next time for Upon Further Review.